Hello, face. Hello, 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 hello. We are live on YouTube. Yes, we are. Hello, face. Hello, hello, hello. All right. We got some. We're prepping to have our show today. Good evening, everyone. Happy first of the day of May. Welcome, May. May flowers. Today is the first day of the month of May. It's amazing, right? How the months are just flying by in a blink of an eye. So, as you know, we're here every Thursdays at 9 p.m. We're going to be doing a 45-minute show. And today's topic, we're going to speak a little bit about relationships, love, and breakups, rebounds, getting back to relationships, how soon. And also, we're going to speak about a question. What do you think about having sex on the first date? How soon should I propose to someone that I just met? So, this topic today is kind of heavy. However, sometimes it's just it's good to to speak about different topics, have a little bit of variety. As you know, we'll have been in love at one point in our life, or we will be in love, or we will be in relationships, we will be living relationships, etc., etc. Because that's the nature of a human being, being in relationships, and not just loving relationships, but all type of relationships, friendships, family ships, work ships, all type of ships. So, but today we're going to speak about the importance of relationships, right? Love and breakups. So, good evening, everyone. We're here every Thursday, as I mentioned earlier. And I am speaking to you from my little studio. And our podcast is Hablandoconbelili. We host our casting every Thursday. We do at times have invites. So if you're interested to be here, we really support small businesses. If you want to come up and talk about your business, share your story with us, we are open. The platform is always open for our community. So I received a couple of questions from some people. They wanted me to speak about what do I think about relationships. Well, relationships, they come in different forms, right? But today we're speaking about intimacy and love and breakups. I believe, relationships, they come in different forms, depending the level of the maturity of the relationships, or the dependent the level of the friendships. So you as a person, you have to measure um your relationship with people. Um, what do they mean into your life, and what do you mean in their life, right? Friendships, they have to face. It's not just one side. It has to be two sides. In order for a friendship or relationship to work, both parties, they have to have a mutual understanding that they're going to respect each other. Respect is highly important. And always communicate in terms of what matters, have great conversations, and depending the relationships that you're having with people or with the friends, you may have plans. For example, you may have a relationship that you really admire somebody, that you're really close with them. You may be planning going on vacation, planning festivities, and planning life, depending where you're at in that relationships. So this individual was asking me, well, what do you think about someone that I just met? However, instead of being friends, we developing a love relationships. Well, that happens the majority of the time. Sometimes you befriend somebody, and depending where the chemistry is at, or depending where you are mentally, sometimes a friendship could develop into a loving relationship, right? But at the same time, um, I believe sometimes you may fall in love without even knowing, or you may just love someone just because. And everything's accepted because at the end of the day, we all human beings. The only difference sometimes that as you get older, you do measure where you at, where you standing with people. When you're a little younger and immature, sometimes you let yourself go just because you have that feelings towards that person, that you gravitate, you feel that desire to be with them, to see them, to be among them. So sometimes you let that rule um of you, instead of you taking a decision whether that relationship is going to be a long term, or whether that relationship is going to be a relationship that it might harm you. Sometimes, when you're young, you don't think about those things. You just go with the vibe, you just go with the feelings, you just go, well, I feel this about him, and you don't think of the years after. You don't think about, well, when I become 20, 30, would I be feeling the same way about this person? And just remember that if you are 15 right now and you are in a relationship with someone, and it's okay that you're gonna be feel, in your head, you're gonna feel that you're in love with that person, and that's fine because that's what happens during that age. But it doesn't mean that that same love that you encountering right now at age 15 is gonna be the same love that you're gonna feel the same about that person when you're 25. Because as time goes by, we are evolving and we are growing. So when someone gets with somebody, right? Let's say, for example, you get with somebody at age 14. By age 25, he may or you may feel different about your relationship. You may grow, or that person may grow out of that relationship, and you may feel different because at the end of the day, every single day we are growing. You may see things differently. Maybe yesterday you love red. Today you want white. So that's how relationship is. But that don't mean that you cannot ferment a beautiful relationship with someone. It is highly important, especially the days that we live in today. Medias, people don't really see each other. People don't really talk to one another. People don't really communicate. Everything's text. It's not really a that sentiment like how it used to be before. That if you had a boyfriend, you're gonna go out, you're gonna go to the movies, you're gonna go clubbing, you're gonna go hang out with your friends. Young people are not really doing that anymore because times have changed. We have evolved. Things are really different. Back then, for my age, if I was 14, 15, where do you meet up with your boyfriend? You go to the field if he was playing soccer. You go to the movies. You go to the community dance. You go to the park if it was summertime. You go to meeting places where you're gonna go hang out, you're gonna go sit and you're gonna chill and this and that and the other. Today's day, I don't even know how young people are dating because everything is media, everything is a phone. People don't really talk anymore. Back in the days, right? If you had a long distance relationship with someone, how did you communicate with that person? You have to write a letter. There was no phones, there was no media. Everything was a letter. Everything was through the post office. So it was fun. You're receiving a letter from someone. Um, just the thought of someone picking up a pen, piece of paper, and present themselves and write down their feelings about you. Those were some great moments. But today's day is totally different. The majority of the youth right now They don't even know how to write a letter. So it's totally different. And I believe I'm not in the dating scene, but I believe, if you're 40, 50, or 60, I don't think people still doing it the same way either. It's totally different. Everything's on the phone. Now, if you want to communicate with someone, you could just dial up, bring them in camera, talk to them, spend time, and so on. So it's totally different, but relationships are really important um to have, especially as you get older, because the fact is that when you're getting older, you're gonna see relationships diminishing. If you had 20, 30 friends from age 30 to 50, you may even have probably five that's still hanging around. At the first thing you got to think of, once you hit 40s, 50s, 60s, what do you think of? People are dying. People die every single day. And not only that, people marry, people go on with their life. They may not communicate with you. You may lose touch with people for because of the affinity of life. That's how life is. Or you may have two or three that you still talk to, but you may not even see. Probably they live in different states. Probably they in relationships. They don't want to be bothered, and so on, so on. So, but it's really important that if you do have friends, maintain your friends. And how do you maintain relationships? Having those candid communications, having conversations that if something goes wrong, have a conversation about it, you know, have the maturity to listen to someone when they call you out, to listen to someone if they feel in any kind of way. It's highly important to um, save relationships because at the end of the day, we all need somebody. Oftentimes in my profession, sometimes I meet people that they get on the phone for 10 minutes call, you go an hour with a call. Why are you having that hour call? Because that person is lonely. They want to talk to somebody. So the minute you get on the phone with them, they just want to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk because of the lack of communication, the lack of people around them. So, and what I suggest too, like for people between 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, became friends of younger people. Why? Because younger people, they innovative. Younger people, they crazy. Younger people, they're going to bring ideas. You're going to see things that are new, trending. Become friends with younger people because I think younger people too, when you're friends with younger people, it gives you that incentive of a long life. So try to, have friends, different age, in different categories, and understand. So there's a question here, right? Um, how do I rebound from a breakup? There's a lot of way how to rebound from a breakups. First up, you got to think of about your lifestyle. You got to think about your age. You got to think about where you hang out. You got to think about your profession. You got to think about things that you like to do. If you in a category from, let's say, from 20 to 30, you could just rebound easily from a relationship. Why? Because at that age, you're not really thinking, you're just enjoying your life. You're not really serious about relationships. You're just living day by day. Probably you don't have children. You just want to go hang out. You want to go to the movies. You want to go to the bar. You want to go to the club. It's easier for you to meet people out there if you just want to rebound from a relationship. But like I say, depending too, because I know people at that age, between 20 and 30, they're really serious about their life. They take their life um they they not easy just to jumping into relationships. So you got to think about what is your personality? Do you want to be hanging around people all the time, or you just want to chill for a minute? Do you want to take your time to meet someone that you may like? Are you thinking about marriage? Are you thinking about serious relationship? Those are things that you got to think about rebounding from a breakup. But there's all type of breakups because sometimes you may break up with someone that you think You really breaking up. You may go your way. 3 months later, he calls you back or she calls you back. You hook up, and then again, you dating again. So think about, if you just left a relationship, are you really done with that relationship? Those are things that you got to ask about yourself. Are you finished with that relationship? Are you planning to go back, or are you just taking a break? Or you just trying to find yourself, or each of you going to work on things, and you're going to work back to be together? You got to think about those things. Those are, the highly valid things that you want to think of. And not only that, if you want to rebound, okay, so you just have left the relationship. What type of relationship you're looking for? Do you want to encounter the same thing that you just came from? So you always got to do a homework. The type of relationship that you had prior. Do you want the same relationship? What are you looking for in somebody? What are you bringing as a person, what are you bringing to the table to join somebody else? So oftentimes we're thinking about, well, what he's bringing, but you got to think about, what am I presenting? What do I have in stored? What do I have to represent me? So oftentimes, we always got to think about it. It's not just about, well, I want this from that person, but what are you bringing to? Because relationships is two, not just one. And second questions that I have here. I left my fiance after 5 years of relationship, single, little scared to get into a relationship. Rightfully so. 5 years that you invested with somebody is 5 years. It's not two, it's not 0 years. I don't know how old you are, but 5 years, it's a long time, a very long time. You invested probably your youth, you invested time, probably you invested money, but more of all, investing time. Time doesn't wait for no one. It's just unfortunate that as of life, people that are open to get into relationships, your time's always going to be, I'm not going to call it wasted, but you're going to spend your time with people that you decide to be with. So you spent 5 years in this relationship. So think about, what did you learn out of this relationship? What are you taking in with you living a 5 years relationship? Are you ready to encounter another relationship? You got to ask yourself about that, right? You say you're a little scary. You should be scared. You should be scared. Absolutely. But let me tell you something. There's plenty of people in this earth. There is plenty of people in this earth. So being scared is fine to feel like that, because you was 5 years living with someone, and you cultivated a family. So with that said, don't be afraid. Always have your heart open, always have your space open, because there's always space to grow. There's always space to meet somebody. There's always space for you to allow yourself to love again, or to be loved. And also, it's highly important that if you're looking for love, create the love that you desire within you first. Because when you have love for you, love is going to find you and love is going to see you. But if you don't create that loving relationship within you, it's going to be an issue out there. And it's just unfortunate that sometimes when we mature, we don't know ourselves. We're often looking for someone to love us. We're looking for that relationship. Sometimes we're looking for a relationship that we're not even ready to handle, because we're not taught that before somebody else has come to make you happy, your happiness belongs to you. Your love belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. Before you propose, before you go out there and develop a relationship with someone, and not only developing a relationship, putting your life into somebody else's hand, think about it first. Your life should be yours before anybody else. Don't go out there, get into a relationship, and you're gonna lose who you are. That you, when you wake up 30 years later, that's when you'll find out that you are deserving, that you are loving, and you deserve love. A lot of people don't know that until later on they find out, oh my gosh, what did I do? And you don't want to do that, especially now that we have so much information online, how to prioritize yourself, how to love yourself, how to care for you, how to give yourself love, self-growth, self-help. There's so much information out there that sometimes instead of you going wasting time in a relationship that is gonna it's not going to serve you at all, it's best sometimes to take the road, go study about yourself, go talk to, go stay by yourself someplace. A lot of people they can't do that. I hear lots and lots of um encounters that I have. They tell me right away, I cannot maneuver by myself. I don't have the guts to go on vacation by myself. I can't do anything by myself because they were programmed from a very young age that every move they have to do, they have to have a second person with them. But it's never late for you to start off practicing baby steps, going to the movies by yourself, going on vacation by yourself, taking a plane. If you never taken a vacation by yourself, as a woman, I suggest to you, get the guts, get the money, do it. It's one of the best investments that you could ever do for you. Research some beautiful places, some safe places. Go to a resort where you're going to buy your whole packet and you don't have to leave the resort. Bring some books. Go enjoy yourself. Just go enjoy yourself. Always, when you go away, one thing I tell anybody that is going off grid or going someplace that is not they native, you always got to be cautious. Don't be drinking if you're by yourself. Don't be taking off with people that you don't know. You know, you always got to think about your safety first. But go on vacation. Take a plane. If you don't feel like going outside the country, just go within. Go to Atlanta. Go to LA. Just get a hotel. Easy maneuver. Get an Uber. Do your thing. Start off doing things for you that matters for you, because at the end of the day, we're living in a world. People don't really care. When people tell you that they love you, probably they just feel it that moment, but it's not because they are willing to be there for you 24/7, especially when you're in need. So don't be afraid. And then not only that, we understand 5 years is 5 years, but open your heart to love. If you desire to be in a near relationship, there's a lot of websites out there where you can start off dating, and you don't have to date one man or woman. You could date multiple people. I know people that go on dates 5 days a week because they're not really serious about getting into a relationship with someone. But at the end of the day, they are enjoying themselves. They get going on a date today, going on a date tomorrow, going on a date, because at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. But come again, do you really want to do that? It's up to you, but open your heart. Don't be afraid. We know there's a lots of knuckleheads out there, but if you're at a certain age, the first thing you have to do, you have to read people personalities, whether on the phone, whether in person. Read a person before you even encounter anything with them. Watch people, don't just go out, meet them. You're already giving them where you live. You're already giving them your life history. Very cautious, but little by little, you could get back into the dating game, and you may find someone that wants to accompany you. Because I often believe at this age, today's day, it's not really about marriage. It's not really about relationship. It's about finding someone who's willing, or both of you are willing to accompany a journey. Because life is a journey. For how long, we don't know, because remember, we're here today and tomorrow we're not. We're just borrowing time. Borrowing time. So I often tell, when people ask me, what do you think about relationships? Relationships are great. And if you left a relationship now, you have the opportunity to start off a relationship. Go on. What are you waiting for? Why should you be mourning a relationship? Sometimes there's relationship that you in that relationship and you already mourned. You already cried out. You already did your therapy. You already you done. And then if you're done, go seek else. And then if by nature you get to meet with the person that you left, you meet again a year later, and there's a decision to go back, hey, why not start off again? You shouldn't been even thinking, well, she's dating, he's dating. No, if you broke up, people go on with their life and they go do what they need to do. But if we meet again, hey, the past is the past, and you could start off a new relationship. And just remember, each relationship is different. Any relationship that you encounter out there, especially loving relationship, they're going to be different. They're going to be different. And as you grow, you're going to study and you're going to see the difference of relationship. But you got to be you. You got to work on you. What type of relationships do you looking for? What type of personality, people that you really want to encounter? Because if you already had certain experiences with different personalities, you have to be very cautious, because sometimes you may attract the same type of people over and over again. And then if you encounter yourself doing that, you have to check yourself. Why am I attracting this type of people? Why am I attracting this type of relationship? So like that, so you could start off measuring, and if you got to do some changes, you do your changes. And also, um, what did you learn? What did you learn out of those relationships? Okay, establishing boundaries is highly important when you're going to either start off in a relationship or you're already in a relationship. Boundaries are highly important. Why? Because if when you establish boundaries from the beginning with people, they will know where to push, where not to push. But what happens when you don't establish boundaries? People will roll over you. People will do you wrong. People will curse you out. People will do things to you that you ask yourself, why this happening? No, because you never establish boundaries. And once a person start off abusing you, you don't put them in their place, that behavior is going to continue because there's no boundaries, right? So that is a highly important. And also honoring you. Know when to say no. And whoever you with or you starting with, they have to understand when someone says no, it's no. You don't encounter into a relationship with someone or doing things that is against your will, that is not in you. And oftentimes I hear people, oh, I'm doing it because I don't want the person to get upset. I don't want the person to feel bad. No, if that person's a grown person, people got to understand when you say no, it's no. And you could do it kindly. You could do it friendly. You know what? Not at this time. I'm not available. If that person don't understand that you're not available, well, that is on them. But it's highly important to establish um boundaries and honoring yourself, honoring your space. Another thing that I always um talk about, I was a single mom for a long time. One thing, when I was single, I had my own place. I didn't really accustomed to bring anybody to my house. I would go out on dates, yes, but there was time, that I would not bring people. First, I had my two kids, so I didn't really bring everybody that I date to my house. You have to be very cautious. Who are you going to enter into your homes? Because there's people that come to your homes, they want to eat your food. The first thing, they run into your fridge, they run in, going in your bathroom. Next thing you know, there's a toothpaste, there's a pair of shorts without your consent. These days, how we're living today, we have to have boundaries. People have to be mindful that if you come into somebody's house, you've been invited to come and sit 2 or 3 hours. You're not being invited to come and stay or make or extend your stay. So those conversations, I believe, is highly important to have it when you entering or you going to, or you are already in a relationship and you feeling that a person is getting closer and then you have feelings or the relationship is getting serious, you have to establish boundaries with your place, with your home. You cannot have a person coming into you in and out of your house all type of hours. You shouldn't have people calling you after certain hours because if you got to go to work, you shouldn't be on the phone 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to sleep. You got to sleep unless you are a young person in the 15s, 16s, early 20s that you could stay up late. But if you're a certain age, establish boundaries because we're living in a world, people don't really care. There's so many people in this earth that people can move on any second. So you always got to have that little protection behind your head that you know what? I am a grown person. I'm hanging with you or I'm having a relationship with you, but it's not a big deal. The minute you want to walk on, the minute you want to leave, you know what? I'll be fine. You always got to talk to yourself. I will be okay. The next question that I have here, how soon should I date after a breakup? Like I mentioned earlier, each individual is different. There's people that I know, they break up today, the next day, they in another date. They in a different relationships. It's how you feel about it, how you feel about yourself. Are you open to date right away? Do you want to take a break? You want to go to therapy? You want to change certain things about your dating life or else? But always think of life is not promised. We borrow in time. So for how long are you going to mourn after the loss of somebody? You always got to measure that. Are you going to mourn for 6 or 8 years? Or you want to mourn 3 days and the next day you go on? Just think about those things. Just think about when people die. What happened when someone dies? When someone dies, the family gathers. What do? They eat, dance, laugh, or you may have certain, depending the relationship, crying off. Well, the people are just having a festive. They just living on. They eating, they drinking, people are gathering together, and you remember, well, you're already gone. And most people, what happens? 3 days later after your burial, what do? They moved on to the next relationships. So just think about those things. It's optional whether you want to wait 10 years or you want to wait 3 weeks. That is optional. But as you know, I'm not a psychologist, but oftentimes professionally, it's suggested at least to wait. At least to wait. Detox. What do you want to clean? What is the next level that you want to take your life? Because something, remember, when we're in relationships, especially serious relationships, sometimes if you don't be cautious, you waste a lot of times. Why? Because you are in a relationship, and sometimes instead of you pouring into you, you pour it into that relationships. And next minute you know, you're breaking up, people are moving on. There's always going to be one that is going to gain and the other one's going to lose. Always. So that's why you have to be vigilant with your time. If you want to learn how to craft, go learn how to craft. If you're married, you're in a relationship, you want to learn how to tailor, go do for you. Do not allow that relationship to stump your growth. You want to go back to school, get your degree. What are you waiting for? Stand up, go do what you got to do. Relationships that are for you, relationships that sees the best of you, It doesn't matter when you pick up and you do things, they're always going to support you. Mind you that. Only relationship that doesn't serve you, relationships that you are not seeing as a human being in their life, those are relationships that will not serve you or support you. But if a relationship is serving you, a relationship that sees the best of you, that relationship is going to support you until the end. Until the end. So go do you. Go study. You want to study another language? Go study another language. You want to travel? I often hear this. Oh, I cannot travel because my significant other cannot take a vacation. Oh, my significant other don't like to fly. My significant other doesn't like to vacation. They vacation at home. But if your dream is to get on a plane and go vacationing, what is stopping? Is it the money? Or is it the person attitude that they going to have because you're going to get on a plane? Those are things you got to think of. Think of if it was the opposite. Think of it. How would you respond if that person says to you, you know what? I'm going to go take the 5 train. I'm going to Brooklyn by myself. Think about that. So oftentimes there's relationships that are really selfish. So think about that. Not to be in a relationship that is selfish. But you always got to think, it doesn't matter how beautiful your relationship is with someone, you always got to think about you. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen if the day comes, something happens to your partner? Sickness could come, death could take place, or the mindset could change overnight. Anything could happen because we live in uncertainty. So what will you do then when that uncertainty arrives? So you always want to be prepared. How are you going to respond? What steps to take? And so on and so on and so on. So we're always going to think about things like that, especially us as the females. We always think of ahead. You know, if something happens here, okay, I already have this established, but do not allow yourself to self-sit and waste, because you are more than enough. You are a creator. You are a magnificent. Always pour and do the best for you. Do you believe in having sex at the first date? Well, depending. If this was a person that you've been talking to for the past, give and take, 8 months, a year, 2 years, you've been on the phone with that person, you feel good on the phone with them. Probably you don't go to the movies, or however you live in a different state or different countries. Well, if you really feel that there's a chemistry with that person when you first go on a date, and you feel you want to be intimate with that person, that is optional. If you're a grown person, hey, think about your life. If that's the step that you want to do, or that's the step you don't want to do, it's optional. Life gives us options. But always think of that if you're going to have sex with someone, always be protected and with your consent. Do not allow nobody to run around you and do stuff to you that you don't desire to do. Right? So always think about that if you're going to be intimate with someone, let it be natural, but with both consent. So that's the answer that I have for you, because everybody's different. There's people that I hear, well, I will never have sex on the first date. There's people that you hear, yes, I will have sex on the first date. But like I say, everybody's different. Everybody's different. Each relationship, each friendship is totally different. There's people that you may be talking to for 8 or 6 months, but when you meet, you don't feel that desire, you don't feel that chemistry. So why bother to go do that if you don't feel them like that? But you may meet someone in 3, 4 days, you go on a date and you feel that there's that chemistry and when you want to take it to the next level, hey, that's on you. That is optional. Lastly, how soon should I propose after meeting someone? Well, that's another question. It's optional. If you want to propose after meeting someone 2 days, go on and propose. That's your desire. That's what you feel like experiencing. Go on. I know someone that they met the next day, they moved in together. 3 months later, they were married and they lasted over 20 years. They created this whole journey together, lasted 20 years. So it's like there's not a certificate out there for you to know what's going to happen in a relationship because we live in uncertainty. We always got to try something new, something that you feel or you have that certainty in your heart that is going to work. And if it doesn't work, hey, we know what to do. We'll move on. The person can move on. If there's marriage, that's why divorce exists, right? That you could dissolve anything and so on and so on. But the message today, love is beautiful. So do not attach yourself about negativities. Do not attach yourself about the old say. Just be you. Be you. Enjoy your life. See what works for you. Because what worked for me, it might not work for you. But just live your life. If you're single, go out on dates, different dates. Don't get stuck just going today and that don't work. And the next day you think, well, I'm not going to another date because no, continue dating until you find your soulmate. I believe in this earth, there's always somebody for somebody, regardless. But you got to open up your heart. You got to present yourself out there as the goddess. You got to represent yourself as love because whatever you put out, that will come back to you. So we will be here back next Thursday at 9 p.m. If you are open, wants to come and hang out with us, we are open with Hablandoconbelili on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. Like I mentioned earlier, we do support small businesses. We are here really supporting our community. So if you want to interview, we are open to showcase. If you want to come out here and chill with us, we are open also. If you have businesses and you want us to give you a shout out, you can send the name of your business and we'll do it from here. You have merchandise that you want to promote, we are open to do that. So follow us, give us a like, and let's be friends. So with that said, we're going to close up and we will be back here next Thursday. Just remember, love, life, and laugh. Ciao. Good night.